G'day guys, I'm Ken from Southern Cross. This is the first instalment of what I'm going to call Sound Bites. It's purely aimed to explain how I get certain sounds on stage. I've had people ask me if I'm using pre-recording backing tracks and stuff like that to be able to make my guitar sound like some of the things it sounds like on stage. It is actually a little bit elusive. It does sound like I've got a acoustic guitar pre-recorded underneath me or an electric guitar recorded over the top or whatever else. I'm actually using one guitar to do it. There's no sampling, anything like that, or at least no looping or anything like that on stage. Sampling, yes, I suppose you could say so, because this is a digital modeling guitar. What I'm using on stage is a Line 6 JTV 69. I've got two of these. I've also got a JTV 89 with the Floyd Rose. So I generally use one or the other on stage. I'm running through a Line 6 HD 500X pod, which marries up perfectly with this guitar. It allows me to program a patch inside of the foot controller, and using this special little lead here, which you may be able to see, hang on, if I get it out, put it as close as I can. Internally it looks like an Ethernet cable, okay? So it doesn't just send the sound of the guitar down to the actual foot controller and off to the amplifier. Find the hole now. It also receives data from the foot controller on the floor, and that data will tell the guitar. I might program, for example, a patch that says I want the guitar to sound like I am emulating a 12-string acoustic on one side, but at the same time I want this humbucker to be turned on. I want the 12-string acoustic to be going directly into the system without any effects of any kind, but I want the humbucker to sound like it's going through an overdriven Marshall, for example, and I can create that patch on the floor. The guitar will automatically take on those characteristics, and it will allow me to sound something like, for example, a 12-string acoustic guitar might be something like this. Okay, and then if I decide I want to add, as I said, like a Marshall type sound over top of it, I just create a second patch and I've got that Marshall type sound over the top of it. I could add something like a wah over the top of that Marshall type thing. Okay, and it's just purely how I create the patch on the floor to do it. So on our song Charade, for example, that's what I use as the example to explain the 12-string and the 12-string with the Marshall combination. And there's also a part in that which I'll go to actually quickly firstly, is my lead guitar tone is about 3 dB or so louder, and it's just purely the sound of two different overdriven amplifiers. I think it's probably a Boogie and an Angle or something like that from memory. I can't remember exactly what I patched in there, but it's like a... And then I add a harmonizer. Hello Ziggy, this is my little border collie here, which you can't really see on video. He's just come up for a cuddle. And I'll add a harmonizer over top of that, which is like what's happening here is I've still got those same two guitar sounds there. It's a little bit delay added to it, but on one side, the notes which I'm playing are going to come out exactly as I'm playing them. On the other side, on stage, I have it so I've got a note 1/5 above being played simultaneously. The delay, purely because we're a single guitar band, number one, it thickens up the sound of my one guitar. Number two, it makes it sound like my one guitar is actually two guitars playing fractionally out of time, which is what I want, and just adds a little bit of dimension to it. But then having the harmonizer over it, you're hearing two guitars, not exactly in time with each other, which is what I want. I need one guitar to sound like two guitars, and it just makes a much thicker sound with two completely blending notes, basically. Okay, so back to the rhythm of that song. Okay, it starts off with a 12-string acoustic sound, which is simply playing a B minor chord. It's actually B sus2 to B minor. A, E. She knows it's a lie, heard it before. You too many times, can't take anymore. Slams down the phone, runs out the door. This time it's goodbye, one thing is for sure. At that point, what happens is a Marshall sound comes over the top of the 12-string. The chords go from B minor to D to A to E, so you've got a D chords being added in there. Instead of doing 2 bars of B to the A, E, it's just B minor for 1 bar, D for 1 bar, A to E. Wasted his chances till nothing has changed. Promised forever, he's still playing games. Things might not be easy, it's better this way. When love is alive, the words are charade. Anyway, so you've now got an idea of how I get my 12-string acoustic sound and my 12-string electric sound combined. The guitar itself, as I said, is a digital modelling guitar. In the back of it, under this cover just here, is a dual-core digital modelling processor. You see this little black thing at the back of the headstock, which I'll explain in just a minute. Okay, but there's a dual-core processor in there which allows this guitar to simulate or emulate or model all manner of different guitars. This other black cover here's got a battery, or it's a battery cover. I haven't got a battery in there, but you can put a battery in there to allow you to do all these sorts of things without using this foot controller. Now, that black thing on the back of the headstock, which you just saw, is actually an automatic tuning system which I fitted to the guitar. It's made by a company called Tronical, because when you're playing, you want to be in tune. So if I turn it on and just strum, I'll put it in such a way that hopefully you can see the headstock. These tuners are a lot more touchy than normal tuners. Normal tuners are usually around, say, 12 to 15 turns of the key for every one revolution the pole does. These things here do substantially more than that, so they're a lot more accurate. And they tune the guitar for me. I don't need to tune. So I push the button, I'll turn the volume of the guitar off. Okay, so there's now no volume on the guitar. Okay, and what I can do is just push the button, strum the strings, and you'll watch the machine heads start turning themselves. It's in tune. Now, it took a while there. I didn't actually go on that much, but a few minutes ago I was doing some pretty heavy whammy stuff before I decided to video this. All right, so you've gone through the sounds I use in that song. Next song, which I'll give a quick example on, would be our song Prisoner, Prisoner of My Heart. It starts off with with a 6-string acoustic. Okay, and it goes from that to a 6-string acoustic with a overdriven Marshall on top of it for the second verse. And then on the third verse, if I can get this foot controller close enough to reach it, it goes to the same sound, but on the electric guitar side, I have a wah pedal kicks in. Okay, so straight away it sounds like I've actually got two guitars happening because that acoustic's not being affected in the slightest. Okay, but whatever I do as far as rocking on the wah just then is happening over the top of that overdriven electric guitar sound, which is on my right side, so the speaker back up here. Now, ordinarily on stage, I don't go directly into the foot controller. On stage, normally I go through a pair of Roland bolt amplifiers. Sorry, I don't go straight into the PA system. I go into the foot controller and then into a pair of Roland bolt amplifiers using the effects loop. So I don't plug into the normal input on the amplifiers. I go to the effects loop and I have the effects loop set so it's after the EQ but before the master volume. For the purpose of this, I'm just going straight into the PA system because it gives me a little bit better spread in a small room. I don't want to have two 100-watt amplifiers cranked up in here when I can get away with this thing at, say, 3 or 4 watts, whatever I'm using. Probably not using bugger all. Okay, now, the only other song which I'm going to quickly give you an example of the songs or the sounds I'm using is from our song Cleopatra, where I start off with a choral sitar sound. So it's the same sound that you heard at the start of Fade It Black by, or Paint It Black, I should say, by the Rolling Stones. Very similar sort of idea. I use it using a Snake Charmer riff, which I originally wrote for a song called Medusa's Little Sister, but I ended up using it in my song Cleopatra instead. And it's just... As you can hear, it sounds like a real Middle Eastern sort of sound. And since that song is called Cleopatra, I need that Middle Eastern sound. Even though the song is actually very slow, it's actually probably the heaviest song we've got. Okay, it's just a real sort of Ronnie James Dio era of Black Sabbath sort of thing, early Black Sabbath, so not the Heaven and Hell version. So that's the sort of sound I was going for in that particular song. For the lead on that song, I start off with that same choral sitar sound. Then I go to a high gain lead sound. Okay. Nice, simple thing. The rhythms I use on that, I use a heavier gain rhythm sound to normal. So this is my normal overdriven sort of rock sound. Okay, straightforward rock. It's just a but on Cleopatra, as well as on our song Feel So Right, I've got two slightly heavier lead sounds. So if I was to play the same riff, bit more saturation, or the other one. Okay, that's it for sound bites. I just wanted to answer a few of the questions on how I'm doing it. You've now seen it. Cheers, guys. As I said, my name's Ken, the band Southern Cross. You can have a listen to some of those songs online on YouTube. Just look up the Southern Cross Band. We couldn't get Southern Cross because someone already had it. So youtube.com/the Southern Cross Band, and you'll find Charade, Already Gone, Can't Help Myself. Probably find Cleopatra and a whole pile of other stuff. In fact, there's some live, gig footage up there, so you should be able to find a lot of those songs. And you can also find us on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/Southern Cross Band. Okay, cheers, guys.